Good morning. Hey, Bonnie, welcome in. How are you this morning? More to love. Welcome in. I have a poll question up there. So tell me your answer to that. And I guess if you're not selling at all, then just answer the third one or changing nothing. That would apply. You're changing nothing if you're not going to sell. So welcome in. Thanks for joining. Read the show notes and also, well, the show notes on Android will not show up until after we move the poll, but I think you can click X and it will disappear. Yeah. If you click X, it will disappear and you can see the show notes. But please answer that question for me. So far, start selling for first time is in the win. Welcome, welcome. So we have some newbies here that are going to sell for the first time next year. Hey, Lynn's Vintage is here. So if you have some things that you are going to do differently or new in your shows in 2026, share with the chat what you're going to do. I mean, you don't have to do anything that's like, I can't give away my big secret of something amazing I'm going to do, but you can tell us, just kind of what you're going to do. I'm just kidding. No, if you do have an amazing thing that you can't share because it's going to change the world, I understand. Welcome in. That bluebird, Dory, Laura, good morning. So, yeah, tell us what you've got going on for next year. For next year. I'm just curious if people have some goals, some things that they want to totally change, do different. And so far, we just have people who are going to sell for the first time. So that's exciting. You're trying to set some goals. Awesome. Aw, that's a cute name, Bitty Bitty Bomb Bomb. Love it. Welcome. Daisy Lane is here. How are you? You're going to incorporate a giveaway wheel into my shows. So the wheel that is available, just do it. Sell, sell, sell. There you go. I'm still learning. You know what? Just do it. Sell, sell, sell is a really good goal. I'll tell you why. Because a lot of times people are their own worst enemy and you just hold back and don't just go on and start selling. I do that to myself all the time. I find myself, holding back certain things because I'm afraid, stuff won't sell or afraid people won't bid it high enough or afraid this, that, the other, right? And it's my own, I'm my own worst enemy in that way because I don't just go on and have fun and sell. And the faster you sell things, here's the honest truth. I mean, unless you have a really hard time sourcing, the amazing thing about Whatnot is the sell through rate. So as long as you start it at a price that you're actually making something when it's all said and done, if you can sell a lot of those somethings fast, then you're still ahead of the game, right? So kind of change up your mentality a little bit about that. I'm trying to maintain enough fabric to do 2 shows a week. There you go. So there's a good goal. So 2 people have shared that what they're going to do. 5 people are starting to sell for the first time. So those people that are going to sell for the first time, tell us who you are and tell us if you have a show scheduled that we can go bookmark. Let's give those newbies, if they have shows scheduled, let's go give them some bookmarks today. So if you're new and you're going to sell for the first time next year, tell us in chat and we'll go bookmark your shows. So tell me in chat first time and that you have some shows booked, that we can bookmark. So that's awesome. Welcome, Wish Penny and Dee in Texas and Rob Har. How you doing? So yeah, tell us in chat if you're one of those people. And if you're one of the people that are going to share something, make sure you're sharing something in chat. So, and those are fair. If you're still learning, that's fine. But I will tell you that still learning, if 2 months from now you're still thinking that way, you're taking too long. Because one of the things about Whatnot that I regret is that I drug my feet at all. Whatnot is still an amazing opportunity, but the faster you get in and get going, the sooner you're going to have some success. So don't wait too long. It's more of a, the longer you wait, the opportunity for faster, more exponential growth diminishes every day because it's starting to get, more and more out there. But it's still a great opportunity because Whatnot is still not a household name. How many people have you talked to that have never heard of the app? Okay. So Lynn says, I'm not brand new, 4 shows, but I still don't have a logo. So Canva scares you. So Canva, honestly, is super easy to use. I will tell you, if you have the money to do it, pay for a subscription. It's not that expensive. And their AI is amazing to generate thumbnails. You just tell it what you want and it produces amazing thumbnails. So I'll have to, maybe one of these days. I do it right on my phone that I stream from. So maybe one of these days I'll stream from my husband's phone that's in my same account and show you on my phone kind of how Canva works. 'Cause it's really easy. It's really easy. I'm sure other people have. Um, Seems like I've seen some people out on YouTube that have some videos about how to do Canva. But it really isn't that hard. I mean, I don't know. My mantra about technology is just start using it and trying it and click all the buttons. And one of the things that they do in software is most softwares use a lot of the same symbols for different things. So if there's a hamburger menu in one software, there's a hamburger menu in another software. So just start using them. I mean, what's the worst that you're going to do? You're not going to break their programming just by pushing things. So just go try it out. So, you know, I'm kind of slightly dangerous on computers because I just sit there and figure things out. And sometimes you can, it's scary if you're on, your own account and you mess something up, but like just using someone else's software, you're not going to hurt anything. So just go play with it and figure it out. So, yeah. Let's see. Um Whatnot is not a thing in your area. Yeah. So you could be the innovator of introducing Whatnot to the world in your little corner of the world, right? So that's awesome. So Little Miss Crafty agrees with me. It's pretty easy and the free version has a lot to work with. Yeah. So you don't have to pay for it. And there's a lot you can do on the free version too. How would a newbie set shipping for first show? So if you go into my auction tab and look at this document that I'm just now pinning, so you just tap the picture on your screen that I just pinned, tap it again, and then take a screenshot. And that kind of walks you through. It asks you a bunch of questions and it walks you through kind of the ideas of, based on what you sell, what are the best shipping settings for you as a new seller. And then if you'll go to my YouTube channel, which is in the show notes, and it's Draz on Whatnot, and go there and watch the video that is titled Don't Sink Your Shipping. So let me pull that up on YouTube so you can see. So go to YouTube and go to my account, and it's best if you type in the ampersand at Draz on Whatnot, and then go to my live shows. So this is my account, it has my same logo that I use on Whatnot, and go to the lives, and then scroll down a ways until you find the one that is titled Don't Sink Your Shipping, and it has a ship emoji as the first thing in the title, so you'll easily see it. It's a little bit further down. I need to go in and clean some of these out that are shows, but it's this one right here. See that little ship emoji, don't sink your shipping. So if you'll use that document and watch that video on YouTube, it will help you decide what's going to work best. Because honestly, it's based on what you sell. So, and if at all possible, it's nice to offer reduced shipping. But when you first get started, if you can't, it's okay, because you need to get your feet on the ground and figure that out first so that you don't have a couple of shows and then find yourself in the hole because you didn't set up your shipping correctly, and or you set it up in a way that screws up all your orders. So yeah, just figure that out first and do it right the first time. And then as you sell more and more, you can manipulate that a little bit more now that you know how to do it. So yeah, there you go. Hopefully that helps. Welcome in everybody. Share in chat if there's things that you're going to do differently or change in 2026. Bin, is there a way to have items reserved for show and available for outside sales, or is it only one at a time? It's only one at a time, because I mean the mentality is, if you want it only for live sales, then you have it reserved for live. But think about it this way. There's no reason that you can't have both. Just have it set for, because if you're going to have it in your live show at any given time, you just pull it in. So you can have it sitting out there in your marketplace. And then if you want to add it to a show, just import it from your inventory and add it to the show. So if you have an item sitting out in your inventory in your shop that's available 24/7, and you decide, oh, I want to have this in my show, you just go inside your show. So here's a show I'm doing later today. So if I want to import an item that I'm going to add to my show, I just open my show, click the add, import from inventory, and then I go find that item that I decided I wanted to add to my show. So let's say I want to add these pins to my show. So I just click that, import, and now that item is available in my buy it now. Boom. Whereas before it was just sitting out there, available. You're hoping for one less step. Well, the clone, you can clone. Do you know how to clone items from a previous show where you can select multiple items? And you can also go in on a web version and go into Seller Hub inventory and just find multiple items, click them, and then add them to shows. So cloning, you go into Seller Hub. So this is on web version. So on your laptop or your PC, go into the web version, go into Seller Hub, go to shows, past shows, and then you click the show that you previously had that had all the stuff that you want to clone over. And then you select the items you want to clone over. And then you hit clone and you put in the show that you want to put them into, the new show coming up. So yeah, Seller Hub, past shows, and then you put in the show you're going to port them over to, clone them over to, and then click those items and then hit clone, and it literally puts all those items in your new show. So it's pretty handy. And then also you can go to Seller Hub inventory and on the web version, and it shows you everything you have listed. You can search, sort by active, inactive, and you can just click items and add them to a show. So yeah. So there's a lot faster ways to do stuff like that. I use that import from inventory all the time though, because it's a really easy way to just find one specific item that you wanted to bring in. So is there an easier way to list inventory than starting over every time? Yeah, that's how. You just use your previous listings. So you clone them or you go to an item that's sold. It's in your inventory on the web version, inventory, inactive. Find one that it can't be done on the phone. Yes, if you're using web version on your phone, but it's kind of clunky because it's small. So I recommend using web for inventory control. It's just a lot easier. But yeah, you just go to your inventory, inactive, add more units if you now gonna, you can even do this on your phone, actually. You can go to inactive and find the item that's sold, add more units to it, and then just that reactivates it. And then just change pictures if you need to change the picture or something. So you don't have to always recreate listings. If you sell similar items, you can always just reactivate a listing and change the pictures. So, but it is a lot easier on web version for sure. So, yeah, no doubt about that. It's just hard on that little screen for them to be able to program this huge inventory list and be able to give you all the features. So, lots of things like that are much easier on the web version. And I know it's kind of a pain to have to go sit somewhere at a laptop or a PC to do those things, but they just programmed it that way so that you can do a lot more on there with your analytics, with your inventory, with your other things, because mobile devices are limited in screen size and features. So, all right. Let me make sure I'm not missing any questions here. Looks like I got them all. All right, thanks for joining. So, 5 people, do you want to share, those of you that are going to do shows for the first time in 2026? I'd love to have you share if you have some shows scheduled so we can go bookmark them. So, anyone that's brand new, going to sell for the first time, feel free to shout yourself out and tell us, that you have some shows scheduled and we'll go bookmark them for you. Welcome in. Hey, that's Stitch and Witch. How are you today? Am I doing anything new next year? Yes, I've already actually started doing some new things, and we're still brainstorming some new things that we're going to try. Um, I'm actually considering doing more frequent but shorter shows. Because feel like one of the problems on Whatnot is expecting people to sit through, 2, 3, 4 hours of shows. That's a lot of time for people. That's a huge time suck for people to have to sit through a long show. So I feel like maybe offering shorter shows and doing them more frequently may benefit you and benefit others. And so I'm going to toy with that. I don't know. My schedule sometimes doesn't allow more frequent, even if they are shorter, because we have some other time commitments for some other things with family right now. So we'll see. But that's one thing I'm considering. So, because I do feel bad when, I don't know, I feel bad when I feel like I'm taking up so much time of someone's life, and what value are they getting out of it other than, I love that people love to be with us and spend time with us on shows, and I get that it's a big part social, but can I offer that same value in a shorter amount of time and still get my sales goals and et cetera, et cetera? So I'm thinking about that. So, yeah. SW Cricket, I'm gathering my shop items now, but I haven't scheduled a show yet. So, I would highly recommend that you get a show on your schedule. Think in your mind, okay, when do I think I'm going to be ready? Get it on your schedule. You can always move it out because you want to start gathering bookmarks way in advance. So, if you think it's going to happen, in 2 weeks, get it on your schedule for 2 weeks. If you think you're a month out, get it on your schedule for a month out. Whatever it is, get it scheduled because that's how you start getting bookmarks in advance for that show. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. We have to have a show to be able to, help you out and bookmark. So definitely. Daisy Lane says she's changing to curated with limited number of items, a little bit shorter of a show. Biggest change will be pre-listing everything and one set starting price. Okay, awesome. There you go. So, yeah, there's lots of different strategies. Um, Try something new. It doesn't hurt to try something new. That's another thing to think about, always be open and flexible to try something new, even if it's just changing times that you do shows, days that you should do shows, the way you do your shows. Because if you have something working really great, it's okay to keep it on, But if things aren't great, always figure out new ways to do things. Always figure out how you can change it up, make it better, do something different. Always, it doesn't hurt to try for sure, right? I want to connect to my bin more in shows. If I'm selling a vase, then florals in the bin type of thing, up sales with little items. Yes, absolutely. And please learn how to take advantage of your bin. Your bin should be your very best friend for a lot of reasons. Not only can you have things in there, that are just passively sitting there, but if you use it actively, meaning you run things as auctions out of your buy it now, you flash sale things out of your buy it now, you use it to have extra stuff. You can use it to flip your entire show if it's not going well. You just start doing things right out of your buy it now. Okay. And flash sales. There's different strategies on flash sale. One strategy on flash sale is it's there, you put it on flash sale and have it running for, a decent amount of time. Another strategy is don't make it available to purchase unless you're actually running the flash sale. So there's a little button for available for purchase for full price. Have that turned off. And then it's just sitting there enticing people with that flash sale price displayed, and they can't even buy it until you run it. It's a kind of a you're there it's a very enticing look to have that item sitting in your buy it now with that little flash sale price. And it's like, I want that, but I can't buy it until she runs it kind of idea. And it really does make a big difference to then run those and run them for a short amount of time. And then it's that FOMO that kicks in of, oh, I've got to grab this if I want it. Okay. So use those features to help you increase your sales. That Stitch and Witch says, I do stitch along shows and I'm teaching cross stitch. I'm going to start offering my own patterns. I love that. Yes, patterns and kits, show people and then sell the pattern kit. And let me tell you something. I mean, handmade is amazing. It's awesome if you can sell people something that you handmade, but you're never going to get usually what it's worth. The time that you put into it, the thoughts, the planning, that all that stuff you put into something handmade. Instead, show and sell the kits and the patterns, because honestly your a lot of your audience can make it themselves and they aren't necessarily going to buy the ones that you make. They might, but you're going to make more and enjoy more doing something that you can show, tell, and sell. Does that make sense? Um, and that's not always the case. It depends on the category you sell in. But I mean, ultimately, a lot of us who are creative and like to make things and we would love to sell them, it's just too hard to make back the amount of time and effort and supplies that you put into it. And so it's better, on the back end. So, right, I sold one handmade cross stitch, but I don't think I'll be selling many for that reason. Yeah, exactly. I mean, because you put so much effort and love and tears into those handmade items, and then you don't want to let it go in the first place because it turned out great and you love it. And then you think, okay, well, I guess I can sell it, but I want to get this much money out of it, and no one will buy it for that much money. It's not, you put too much time into it. So instead, yeah. So, I mean, and there's some things you can do that with that are easy, fast items, little items that you can make for inexpensive, don't take too much time. That's different. But something that you've put a lot of effort into, it's just, yeah, you just can't get back out what it's worth. Yeah, lesson learned. Agreed. So, yeah, you kind of have to think, of the model of if it's something that I can make in 15 minutes or less and people will buy it for, X amount of dollars, great, go for it. If not, it's probably not worth your time and effort to hand make things and try to sell them. Instead, do, demos and sell the supplies, the kits for people to do it for themselves. Selling a product with fabric and patterns and even cut out ready to sew. Yeah, you could do that too. But again, keep that 15-minute thing in mind. Because I mean, think about how much money do you want to make an hour? And I know that's realistic because you're reselling, but still, how much money do you want to make an hour? So if the effort you put into selling something that you have to prep or make is more than about 15 minutes, then what you can make on it on the flip side, is it worth your time? So you have to really think that through. So, but selling products that you've put the kits together, if you can, because usually you're using some kind of an assembly style, cut out 10 of these, do this, do that. And then it's worth it because you're putting together a little kit and it's ready to go and no big deal. So, like, I give away and I sell the little fabric bookmark kits. And it's funny because I'll give them away, and then inevitably in a show, someone will be like, "Can I buy one of those?" I'm like, "Sure." I sell them for $3. It's 3 squares of fabric, a little piece of interfacing, and the instructions that I've already put together. Hey, thank you so much for the raid, MB Shop. How are you today? This is my walk and talk seller chat. So welcome in. I'm Dana, aka Draz. And tell us what you sell and when your next show is, MB Shop. Let's click on your name and see. So MB is shopware, authentic, selling thrifted, free people, Anthropologie, Urban Outfitters, and some brands. And she has a show scheduled on the 27th, Women's Contemporary, Free People. So everybody give her a bookmark. Bookmarks are free. Bookmarks are something nice we can do for each other that don't cost us anything. Thank you. Merry Christmas to you, too. So I'm trying to get my fingers to bookmark that for you. All right. So bookmark MB Shop's upcoming shows. Thank you so much for the raid. And Happy New Year. Merry Christmas. All the good stuff. Oh, I'm glad. I'm glad that you learned a lot, and I hope and wish you all success. Thank you for being here. All right, so we have 6 and 6. 6 people sharing in chat things they're going to do new or change up. And then we've got 6 people that are going to start selling for the first time in 2026. So, again, if you're one of those 6 people going to sell for the first time in 2026, feel free to share with us what you have going on, and we can go bookmark shows if you have some scheduled. So Lacey is going to start selling for the first time in 2026. So everybody click her name, give her a follow. And Lacey, we don't see any shows yet. So if you want to schedule a show, we can bookmark it for you. My number one tip. What's my number one tip, you guys? My number one tip is, let me find my tip list. Here we go. Draz's top 10 tips. I just pinned it. My number one tip is schedule shows. So even if you're not going to start selling for 2 months, get a bunch of shows on your schedule that people can start bookmarking. So as you go out networking and finding friends and interacting with people in shows, they can start bookmarking those upcoming shows. Yep, just schedule shows. All right, Dory Door says, I got a Whatnot bookmark in a giveaway. That bookmark is going with us on a cruise. Oh, awesome. Yeah, I remember that you won the other day, so that's fun. So that's another thing. Everywhere you go, always share what you do and share the platform. I give people the link to Whatnot from my account all the time. All the time. I'm like, have you heard of Whatnot? That's what I do. I tell people about it. And people will say, oh, well, I want to check it out. So I'm like, okay, what's your cell number? And I just text them the link and it goes through my account. Does everybody know how to do that? Share the refer people through your account. It's that little so if you're on your profile, it's that little thing on your mobile device. Oh, it doesn't show on my iPad the same way. But on your phone, it's just that little gift thing that blinks kind of in the corner if you're on an iPhone, and you refer people. You can also get to it in your account in referrals and credits right there. So you can click referrals, and then here's the link, invite a buyer. So you can just copy that and then text it to them. And that way, when they sign up, they automatically follow you. And if they end up buying something, you actually get $5. Who doesn't want free $5, right? So always refer people, talk about what you do. So, when you're on your cruise and you have that little bookmark, make sure you're sharing what you're doing. Little Miss Crafty says my defect free rate fell to 94%, but all my reviews are good. How can I see why? Did you have someone that can't had to request a refund? Because it might not have anything to do with a review. So someone might have requested a refund because their order never got there or something. But you should be able to go into Seller Hub and so if you go into your Seller Hub, let me just show you. Go into Seller Hub and then go into account health and then click over on the arrow and it'll show you in there. Let's see. Oh, it doesn't show it the same on here. Let's see. Learn more. Let me see where that takes us. No, that just gives us info. Let me think where it's at. Oh, customer support. So if there's anything open under customer support, it will tell you in there and you'll see them. So customer support and then defect rate. Yeah. So you should be able to see them in there if there was anything that was outstanding or that was refunded. Is everybody participating in the do your own customer service? I don't know how they invited people because I've been in it for so long. But if you're not in that program already, I thought they were going to make everybody start doing it. But maybe it's still in beta. So you're not? Okay. So message customer service and tell them I want to do my own customer service. I think they'll still let people join because you should want to do your own customer service. Then you have control. So when someone requests a refund or requests to cancel or something, it comes to you first instead of just going through customer service. And then you get a message and you get to respond and tell them whether or not you accept it or decline it or whatever. So you have control over that instead of them just arbitrarily refunding something or whatever. So, yeah, make sure you have that. If it's still in beta, I can't ever remember. I mean, I've been on it for like a year and a half. So I don't know what status it's in, but I thought I heard they were going to have everybody start. They were going to start putting everybody on that. Makes sense to make people, have or to allow us to have control over that because it's so frustrating if someone requests a refund or to cancel and you don't get a say in it, right? So make sure you message and ask. I'm pretty sure that if you message and ask, they will put you on that. So just message customer service and say, I want to be part of doing my own customer service. And I think they can put you on there. All right. Anyone else that is new that would like for us to bookmark upcoming shows? Is there anyone else that's going to start selling for the first time? And again, my recommendation is if you have any plan to start selling, get shows scheduled. It can be even 2 months out. You can always move things. Get a bunch of shows on your schedule so that people can start bookmarking your shows. So if you've been approved to sell, there's no reason to wait. Just start getting shows in there so that when you're in shows like this and out networking, you're sharing what you're doing and people can start bookmarking those shows. You're missing out on a lot of traction that you could have had in advance if you don't have shows on your schedule. So get those in there. All right, let me see if I missed anything. Let's see. All right, looks like I'm caught up. So if you have questions, put them in chat with a question mark. Read the show notes. Lots of good info in the show notes. I've added a starred bullet in the show notes. It's the very last one in there. And they have created a new Whatnot Meetups hub. So they allow sellers who are interested to schedule a local seller meetup. And so a seller applies to it's not really sponsor, host a local meetup in their area. And you can use that seller hub that is meetups.whatnot.com. It's the last start bullet in my show notes. You can go there and you can look to see if there are any events coming up in your area. And you can also apply to host one if you would like to. Doesn't mean it will get approved, but you can always try. So if you would like to host a local meetup in your area, or you would like to see if there's any coming up that you would like to go to. And you're also allowed to go to local meetups in other areas if you want to. Like I know there's one coming up in Las Vegas. If you're already thinking about going to Vegas on a trip, schedule it at the same time, go to the local meetup, and I think you just have to click the link that you want to attend. So, yeah, use that local meetup, Whatnot Meetup hub to find out about seller hosted events. And it's just fun. We had one in Utah in February of this year, so earlier this year, and we hosted it, and we had about 25 people come, and they Whatnot sponsored it and paid for the meal and gave us some swag to give away, and we just got to meet other sellers, and it was a lot of fun. And the thing is that's really cool about it is, it's hard to talk to family, friends, acquaintances about what you do because nobody gets it, right? Everyone's like, that's weird. You're doing what? You're going live and selling on auctions? Did you get a job at QVC? Nobody really understands what it is you're doing. And so getting to go to a local meetup um, and talk to people who are doing the same thing and exchanging ideas is awesome. And John says, if you're traveling to Vegas, your trip just became a tax write-up. Bingo, exactly. Okay, so yeah, go check out that hub where they are listing the local meetup events. And, if you're so inclined, also maybe apply to host one. So very cool. Make sure you're also following and have bookmarked the shows that are in the Whatnot Seller account. That's the first starred bullet in the show notes. They have a show scheduled, I think it's on January 7th, to do an update show, and they didn't have one this month. So I'm thinking that they are, going to kind of catch up and do a lot of updates in that show. So let me pull that up and make sure I said the right date. Yeah, the 7th. So Whatnot Sellers, that account, and then their show on the 7th, they're going to be doing new product updates and kind of go through some things they've added. And they'll probably talk about some of the things coming up for the new year as well. And then if you look, they've also got one scheduled on the 21st for new sellers, shipping best practices and tips. So if you're new, they're going to do a whole show that just shows you how to ship and tips about shipping. And if you go to the second start bullet in my show notes, so hang on, I think this, so the second start bullet is the Whatnot app, which is the YouTube account. So Whatnot app is the address on YouTube. And they've posted a lot of those videos from past shows on Whatnot Seller. There's a lot of really good content on the YouTube account. Make sure you go to YouTube and pull up that account. It's best and easiest to find it if you type it in exactly Whatnot app with the ampersand, because otherwise there's a lot of content on YouTube with the word Whatnot, and it's hard to find the official account. Type it in with the ampersand, and it's the one that has the official Whatnot logo. And then it has all those past videos from that Whatnot Seller account that you can go watch. Lots of good content on there. Hey, Andy, how are you this morning? What's going on? All right, so this is so funny. We keep getting one person added to each thing. So 7 people have said that they're going to change or do something new, and then 7 people have said they're going to start selling for the first time. So 7 people are going to start selling for the first time in 2026. Tell us who you are and have us bookmark your shows if you have some coming up, or get some scheduled so that we can bookmark them. Wanda is here. Good morning. And just something about it. Welcome in. So, yeah. And if you marked that you're going to change something new, do something new in 2026, share what you're going to do. Tell us what you are thinking about changing up if you're comfortable sharing. Okay. And if you're starting to sell for the first time, I would love for us to be able to bookmark your upcoming shows if you have some scheduled. So tell us if you have some shows that we can go bookmark. Okay, Wanda is going to start selling, but she needs to set up some shows. All right, so everybody give Wanda a follow. That's first step we can do. And then if you want if you can get something scheduled, come back, or if you want to get one scheduled right now, we're happy to bookmark it for you. Let's see, just something about it. My number one New Year resolution is to do regular shows in front of the camera. I want to do shows from inside my brick and mortar store. Oh, very cool. So just something about it. Everybody, if you're not following them, give them a follow. Let's go view your profile. And there's a show scheduled on the 12th. shop my store, hand-picked vintage goodness. So are you gonna just do like shows after hours or before hours inside the shop? So that's cool. So you have to move your shows a lot because I still work a full-time job. I want to schedule my shows on the same day and times and keep them there. That's for fourth half. Okay, so we'll pull up yours. So just something about it says, I'm thinking on Tuesdays when I'm not open. Perfect. Yeah. I would recommend definitely not doing it when you're open because I saw someone try to do that and inevitably they got a phone call. Someone came in the shop and it was like, nope, that doesn't work because you can't keep your whatnot audience waiting and expect them to stick around while you go help someone in the shop. So that doesn't work. All right, and let's go look at um, fourth half. Welcome in, by the way. So fourth half, everybody give them a follow if you haven't already. And fourth half has a show scheduled today at 4 and tomorrow at 2. The 25th, you're gonna have a show on Christmas Day, and that's brave. And it's actually, I mean, I say that, but sometimes doing a show when nobody else is gonna probably be doing a show is a great idea. Just depends. All right. So there you go. So we're bookmarking your upcoming shows. And you also sell in vintage decor as well. So very cool. So thanks for bookmarking fourth half, who is going to do yeah, I had one on Thanksgiving as well this year because we ended up having our Thanksgiving dinner the day before because my son came to visit but had to leave, and so it worked out. Just something about it says I posted a preview video on edits to stitch several videos together to show various parts of my store. Oh, that's cool. All right, I am thinking, let's see. Okay, so fourth habit just wants to try and have a consistent schedule. And here's the thing about that. Um, that's an awesome thing to do because then people will always remember this is when you're on, and it helps you to be able to be better prepared and more focused on getting your shows ready. Um, so yeah, having a consistent schedule is great if it works out for you. So, it just depends on if you can. I try to have a consistent schedule as well. Um, it just has to vary every other week. And so that's kind of a bummer because I watch my granddaughter um, a couple of times a week, and every other week her dad's schedule changes. He's a nurse. And so it's kind of hard. I want to have the same time every day, but I can't. So it just, so you have to do what life brings, and it's okay. But yeah, consistency does help. Johnson says, my goal is to start pre-listing sooner and to start doing my Tuesday shows again. I co-host 8 trains a month and have let my shows go by the wayside. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, be careful about doing that. I mean, it's great to get your name out there and everything to host raid trains, but if it's making it so you're neglecting your own shows and, that's great. You have a big following, and you're doing that and helping other people, but what are you getting out of it? So yeah, be careful about that. Because I know some people who have been big raid train hosters and part of raid trains, but you don't make big money in raid trains. That's more of a networking, have fun, do great shows, but you don't really make a ton of money doing raid trains. And so then at some point you're going to go, oh my gosh, I'm spending all this time doing this and I'm not getting anything out of it. So, yeah. Anything special about creating my bio to do or not to do? Let's go look. Okay, so Lacey, well, you definitely need to have stuff. So have a backdrop, come up with something pretty that, kind of features what you're going to sell or who you are, and come up with a logo of some sort. And then when you schedule shows, definitely have thumbnails. I still see a lot of sellers who go live for the first time and they have nothing, no backdrop, no information, no nothing. And it's like, okay, why do I want to even come here? There's nothing to see. So definitely get all of that set up in advance, but get some shows on your schedule. Even if you don't have anything yet, get some shows so you can start getting bookmarks and then work on getting, a logo, a backdrop, and get some items in your shop. And the one of the best ways to put stuff in your bio is to bullet. There's a lot of people you go in and they've got these huge paragraphs, and I'm sorry, people just aren't going to read it. So do some, if you look at mine, I just have some bullets. That's what I have. That's it. That's my bio. Bullet it out, put some emojis in there, make it short and sweet. Tell people who you are that way in a short, sweet way. I just feel like big, huge, long paragraphs, people aren't going to read it. Try and do something short and sweet so that it gives people a good idea of who you are and what you sell and stuff like that, but not too wordy. I will be doing all of it this weekend and week. Oh, good. So yeah, come back next week when you've got it all set up, because I do this show every Tuesday and Thursday morning. So come back and we can all go bookmark and follow, and then we can see what you've done and I can give you any feedback. So awesome. SW Cricket, but I need to add items and change my bio. Oh, you think you just set up a show? Okay, so let's go follow you first of all. So everybody give SWCRCKTT, which I'm assuming is Cricket. And so here's Stephanie, and she is SC of Treasures, and I love creating and collecting all things pretty. So bullet yours up a little bit, shorten that, kind of save all the same things only in shorter little bullets. And then yes, you've got a show on here. So everybody bookmark that show that SW Cricket has scheduled. And I'm going to tell you, that's awesome that you got one show scheduled. Now get 10 more. Get 10 more shows on there so that people can start bookmarking additional shows. And don't make the mistake of having your first show and not having additional shows for people to bookmark. Okay. Oh, we just got another raid. Cole's new to you. Thank you so much for the raid. Welcome in. All right. So, yep, always have multiple shows scheduled so people can bookmark them in advance. And let me see who Cole's new to you is. Let's put them in chat. Everyone give them a follow. And Cole's new to you is Brittany. Resellers for about 15 years and newer on Whatnot. Welcome to Whatnot. And their next show is scheduled tomorrow at 6 a.m. my time. And then they've got one on the 27th, 28th, 30th. So just starting out, everybody give them a follow and please bookmark those upcoming shows. And it looks like they're doing mostly baby and kids stuff. So very cool. Welcome, welcome. All right. And then I just saw, let's see, let's see, Why Torreno says in 2026, I plan on trying out different times to find my audience. I also have to fix the lighting in my showroom and create a fun backdrop. Very good. Love those ideas. So, yeah, you try to have a consistent schedule, but if that schedule is not working, mix it up. Try some other things. Keep your schedule, but then try and do some pop-ups at different times to see if you find out that there's other times that actually work better. So, yeah, always try new things to figure out what's going to work. Fourth half, what do you recommend on how to get more followers? I have 900, but my goal is 1,000 by the new year. One of the best ways to get more followers is to join raid trains. Because then you're just, join a raid train, get your name out there. So if you've got a few shows under your belt and you feel comfortable, that you can run a show, join a couple of raid trains so that you can get your name out there. How do you find the raid trains? Just go out to the For You page and type in the word raid train in your category that you want to sell in, and you'll find a million shows. Just look through them and find someone who, on a thumbnail, it'll tell you who's organizing it, or sometimes it's in the show notes, or go into the show, the person modding, or they'll shout out the person who organized it. Reach out to them and say, hey, I'm interested in being in a raid train. Do you have openings coming up? Just be forward about getting onto some raid trains. That's one of the very best ways to grow your following. And it's awesome too to get into raid trains that are kind of cross category. So there's a lot of raid trains that are specifically geared for new sellers. There's raid trains that are just like, it doesn't matter what the category is, they just have a theme, so then you can be in that raid train no matter what category you're in. So go search out stuff like that and get into some of those to get a bigger following. Also, networking is huge. What do I mean by networking? Go to other people's shows and just interact. Also, another way to get a good following is to offer to moderate. Find a friend who's newer and say, hey, if you'll moderate my shows, I'll moderate your shows. And then that way you're kind of being seen in people's shows and people will follow you. So, moderating is a good way to get more followers as well. But networking, honestly, is the best way. You just have to be strategic about how you network, and shouldn't be in shows asking, can I share? You wait for opportunities where they say you can share, but also just being there, interacting, talking to other people. People will be curious who you are, what you do, they'll go follow you. So just networking is a really good way to do that. You're welcome. All right. Let's see. Wyoming to Reno. So you moved from Wyoming to Reno. There you go. That makes more sense because I was like, why to Reno? So Wyoming to Reno. All right, let's see. So let me just go over really quick. Everybody make sure you read the show notes because there's a lot of good info in there, and take a screenshot of those 5-star bullets. Or do I have 6 now? I keep adding to them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 6-star bullets now. So make sure you have a screenshot of those star bullets because it gives you all of the official places to go to get help. So you were born and raised in Wyoming too, and now you're in Texas. Ah, cool. So you just made a connection there. So Wyoming is a very low populated state. So if you were born there and someone else was born there, that's pretty good to have made a connection to someone else born and raised in Wyoming. Exactly. Yep. All right. So take a screenshot of those show notes and also go into my auction tab. So you just click on the shop button on your screen, and instead of buy it now, click on auction. All 18 items in my auction are not things I'm selling. They're just things for you to screenshot and look through. All kinds of guides. Some of them there are the official guides that Whatnot has put out for different topics. And I'm on the community support team, and we get those and we share them. And once a month, we do a show where we have a specific theme. And this month, our theme was goals for 2026. And I had that show a couple of weeks ago. And if you want to rewatch it, it's on YouTube. And we just talked a lot about goals, things you want to do for next year. And then all of these other documents are just similar things like that. Some of them I put together, and some of them are the official guides that Whatnot put together with our help and quotes on some of them. So, yeah, make sure you go through the auction tab and go through all those documents. There's a lot of good things in there, a lot of good content. This is probably my favorite one that I've put together. This one that's the 5 F's of attracting buyers. So a few of us, a few of you make it out of Wyoming. Yeah. Okay, so the 5 F's. If you don't have this screenshotted, let me pin it on your screen as well. Let me get it pinned. So tap that picture, tap it again, make it big, and take a screenshot. So the 5 F's are: have fun in your shows. Make your shows fun. What does that mean? I don't know. It's different for everybody. But you should be having fun doing this, or it's going to come across that you don't enjoy it and you're not passionate about it, and you're not probably not going to be successful. I'm just telling you that right now. Okay. You need to be having fun in your shows. Your shows need to be fast paced enough that people will want to stick around, because people have a very short attention span because of how life is nowadays. So it's got to be at a good clip enough that people are going to stick around. The next one on the 5 F's is findings. You have to have good stuff that people want to see and purchase. So fun, fast pace, and good stuff. And then once you've got those 3 things nailed down, you've got to have good fulfillment, meaning you've got to be able to ship your stuff quickly and nicely and offer great customer service. Because even if your shows are amazingly fun, fast paced, and you have great stuff, if you can't get your stuff shipped out and you're really crappy with customer service, it's all going to come crashing down. Okay, so make sure you're going to be willing to do the shipping and the customer service. If you're really bad at that, either get in gear and make it work, or don't bother. That's the truth. I'm being blunt. If you're going to suck at getting the shipping done and responding to people and providing good customer service, meaning you're going to actually ship stuff nicely, pack it nicely, and not be grouchy about someone messaging you about orders, be honest. If you're not going to be able to do that well, this is not for you. You have to provide good customer service. And then the last thing is frequency. You need to do shows often enough that people see you and make your show part of their schedule. So that's the 5 F's. Okay. Junk with Lisa said I had 2 packages that were broken during shipping. They were refunded, but I found replacements and sent to them what was broken. Yeah. So, and I mean, sometimes people still pack it really well. And the post office does things like drop it 50 feet and have the truck run into it. I don't know. Sometimes there's nothing you can do and stuff still gets broken. But pack it well enough that the probability is that it will get there. Now, you can't expect people to put it in a wooden crate and put foam around it because then they've spent more packing it than the item was worth. But you get what I'm saying, right? So little things, yes, little things bring them back. So providing good customer service is a big part of being able to sell and continue to sell and have people be happy. And yes, you have to have fun in your shows. You have to enjoy what you're doing because Whatnot is not just a regular platform where you list things and nobody has to talk to you or see you. It's the opposite. You are part of what you're selling. You're selling yourself along with your merchandise. So if you're not a sell yourself kind of person, you're going to struggle with that. So make sure that this is for you. Make sure you're willing to be a part of what you sell because a big part of what you're selling is yourself. So, one of the exercises that I tell people who are new to do, hey, Faye West, welcome in, is to go watch, take a piece of paper and write down columns. And the column is why did I want to stay and why did I want to leave? So 2 columns. And then go watch 10 shows you've never, ever, ever been in before. Someone new that you have no clue who they are, what they do. And then I want you to write down why did you want to stay? Why did you want to leave? And do that for about 10 different shows. And then go watch some of your favorite shows that you love to be in and do the same thing. And you're going to learn a lot about what you need to do and what you shouldn't be doing because you're putting on your buyer hat when you're going to go watch all these shows. So I'm just a viewer, I'm a buyer. And what are they doing in these shows that's making me want to stay? What are they doing in these shows that's making me want to leave? Okay. So, yeah, what are you doing that? And then you're going to go, okay, this is what I do want to do. And then make a list. Here's all the things that I learned about what I should be doing. And here's all the things I learned about what I shouldn't be doing. So Johnson says, agree. I've been in sales close to 40 years. The first thing you're selling is yourself. Yep. And all of the big popular sellers on the platform, that's a huge part of why they sell is because they've sold themselves. People go because they now are kind of a celebrity, right? Auntie Gabby says, I have a question about promoting in your show. In a private message, I was told it's not allowed. Um, so so technically, terms of service, you can't go into someone's show and just say, "Hey, I have a show on Tuesday at 5. Everybody please bookmark it." That's against terms of service because you're interrupting someone's show trying to self-promote, right? So yes, that's against terms of service. In a show like this, where I'm doing a seller chat, I've already told you right in the show notes, feel free to share your shows. So it's already advertised. So in this show, that's totally appropriate because I'm doing a seller chat. We're all in here trying to help each other and promote shows. So in this show, that's completely acceptable. Um, but oh, in a private message, yes. Yeah, you shouldn't be private messaging people and promoting your show either. You know, if you found someone in a show and you're trying to, private message people in there, that's rude too. That's spammy, right? It's someone you don't know. You're just messaging them. Is that what you're saying? Yeah, you shouldn't do that either because you're just arbitrarily reaching out to people. Oh, previous buyers letting them know you're on. Um, so if they are people who have bought from you before and you're letting them know of something specific that you have, that's appropriate. But just sharing your shows in general, I would advise against it because people get turned off, if you're just, inviting people. Instead, encourage people to bookmark upcoming shows, encourage people to mark some of the items that you regularly have because then they will also get notified when you go live if there's an item that you have that they can bookmark. Um, and you can also form groups if you want to. If you have a group of sellers who are willing to have a group where you can share shows, that's fine. You could also join groups on other social media platforms like on Facebook and Instagram. I would highly recommend that you get on social media and start sharing your account on social media because you're going to get a lot more traction that way than you are just sharing shows on Whatnot. Sharing shows on Whatnot is probably the worst way to try and get people in your shows because people just see a message sharing your show. They don't know why or whatever, and it just comes across as very spammy. So, and when you're a known seller and you've been around for a while, I get people sharing shows to me all the time. I don't know why, I don't know who they are, and I'm just like, I don't care. You know, it's annoying. So and it's just really ineffective. It's a really ineffective way to try and advertise. Rather, do it more organically by networking, being in other people's shows, making comments, share on social media, and then you're going to have a lot better result than just spamming people with your show in the message system. And I know it kind of makes it seem like that's what they want you to do because it allows you to share and then it pulls up the message system, but it just isn't great. I think it's much more effective to just do it more organically by networking, getting on raid trains, sharing on your social media, and all of those things. But if you do have a previous buyer that you know is going to want to see some stuff you have, reach out to them in a way that lets them know you have something specific. And then that's not as spammy because you're like sharing something specific. Does that make sense? All right. So, Dory Door says I have Facebook, but different name than what I was given by Whatnot. How can I merge the name with Whatnot? Well, you can change your Facebook name if that works for you. Or maybe you need to come up with a whole different name and put both accounts, or you can create a new Facebook page that's tied to your current Facebook page that's your business name. So it just depends on, what's going to work for you. And you can also multicast if you have enough of a following on Facebook and YouTube. You can also multicast. That's what I do. I multicast onto both Facebook and YouTube. That's how I have those shows in my lives on my YouTube account saved in there because I multicast. What way do I think is best practice? Organically building a network and sharing on social media. That's best practice because then you're not just out there spamming people, So do all the things like raid trains, offering to moderate for other people, going into other shows and just being part of a show, making comments, buying a few things here and there, just organically getting yourself out there so that people find out who you are. And then doing great shows, have great fun shows that people want to come watch and be part of. Because organic is always best because then people are there because they want to be there. They found out about you and they want to be there. So if you feel like you have to spam and do all of that stuff, you're beating a dead horse, honestly, because you're just doing it in a way that people aren't going to be attracted to. Would it be bad to change your Whatnot name? Depends on how much you've done under the current name. So let me give you a follow first of all. So you haven't even started selling yet, right? So you're at the point where, if you want to have a better name to reflect what you're going to sell or just whatever, just do it now before you start selling. So like right now you've got 98 followers, so no huge loss. If you change your name, just put in your chat, previously known as Dory Door for a while, but change it up now before you start selling. And then, what you've come up with is now what you're, going to be. And then you can change your social media to match that as well. Get a logo, all the good stuff. And then you're already, it's already all uniform before you even start selling. So yeah, that's a good way to go about doing it. All right. I need to stop buying until I can change my name. Yeah. Yeah, you can't have outstanding orders. So you need to stop buying for a little bit and have your orders all delivered. Yeah. And then you can change your name. It's not a big deal, a big process, but that definitely would encourage you to stop spending for a while, right? I've got to change my name so I can't buy anything. Legit. All right, easier said than done, right? But yeah, honestly, just building a network. You were good for about a day. Yeah, that's about how I am too. Um, you know, organically building your network really is the best way, because then you know those are people that genuinely want to be part of your little whatnot world, and they're not just, sucking up or whatever. So build an organic network by doing all those things. And it does take time. This is here's a thing that people need to really know about this platform. This is a long game. Sometimes your long game can be a little bit shorter than others, depending on how fast you are willing to grow, meaning how often you can go live. Because the more you go live, the faster you're going to grow, period. Right. But it's a long game, no matter how long that game is, whether you're going to go, hit the rubber running 0 to 90 in 5 seconds kind of seller. And within 6 months, you're already, way up there. Or maybe you can only do one show a week and you're a lot longer, you know, your long game is a lot longer. So you just have to decide what works for you. But because there are sellers that come on here and are just like, you know, they start selling and within 6 months they're already at premier status. But trust me, they put in a lot of time in those 6 months to get where they got. They were on fire from day one. If you're more relaxed about it and aren't in a huge rush and you can take it a lot slower, that's fine too. But it's a long game no matter what, because 6 months is still long, right? Don't expect to come on this app and within a few weeks be shooting the stars. It's just not going to happen. It takes a lot of work and a lot of effort and a lot of thinking and a lot of strategizing and a lot of figuring out to work out how it's going to work for you. Okay. Um, you too, I started buying at the end of May. I don't have a problem. Yeah. None of us do. None of us do. We're all good. So, hey, Amaluna's mom, how are you today? So, yeah, just, that's why it's so important to have goals. Write down what it is you're trying to achieve on this app. And if you want to be premier by, June of next year, you've got to light a fire, right? If you don't care and you're just, I just want to make enough money to then be able to use that money to buy, that's a whole different goal. So write it down, what's your goal, and then work towards that goal, and don't worry about everything everybody else is doing. Focus on what it is you're trying to achieve. What makes you premier? So a premier status seller, I mean, the main thing is that you have to sell $50,000 gross sales in any given 3-month period. So that's a lot of dough. $50,000 in 3 months. But in addition to that, you have to have, you know, like super high reviews, super high um, account. What is it they call it? We were talking about your account has to be in good standing. You can't have tons of returns and tons of cancellations and all that stuff. You've got to have quality listings. So you have to have listings that meet the criteria for what a quality listing is, meaning it has to have pictures, a title, a description, a status, whether it's a new or used item. So you have to have quality listings, good account health, and you have to sell $50,000 in a 3-month period. So, if that's not even in your brain, don't even worry about it. because that's a lot of work. Most sellers who are premier status at some point have had to do some heavy duty sourcing, put out a lot of money, and possibly, rent out warehouse space, hire employees. You're going to that big level. Because once you get to a certain point to continue growing, you can't do it all yourself. And most of the premier level status sellers don't do it by themselves and never did. They usually have a spouse or a partner, and you know, yeah, because it's definitely a full time job for two people. So, yeah. So, my husband and I are full time on Whatnot. We are not premier status because we don't want to do some of the extra work. We're premier in every way except for the $50,000. So, because in order for us to hit that level of sales, the inventory we would have to have would then make it so we have to have more space. And then on the shipping end, we would probably have to have someone help us do the shipping. And I don't want employees right now. So, we're toying with the idea of maybe involving some other family members. There's other things you can do, make them partners, not employees. Um, but yeah, so there's things you can do, but we would definitely need more space because if you are selling $50,000 in a 3-month period, you got to have a lot of inventory, and you've got to move it fast. You got to be selling fast and have a lot of inventory. So, but you can be very successful and be full time on this app and still make a good living and not have to be premier status. So, set your goals, decide what works for you, and work towards that. So, yeah. And another thing to think of too is you can also, depending on what you're selling, you could be premier status simply because the items that you sell are very high dollar items. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you're more profitable because you have to spend a lot of money on those high dollar items to then turn around and sell them for more. So, like, for example, the people that are selling like the really high end designer handbags, luxury handbags, they're premier status probably simply because the items they're selling, if they're selling enough of them, when you're selling handbags that cost $500 to $2,000 a pop, you only have to sell so many to hit 50 grand in 3 months, right? But that doesn't necessarily equate to huge profits for you if what you're having to spend on your inventory, you may be making the same amount of money I am on the back end, but you're a premier seller because of the high dollar amount you're selling on, specific items you're selling. So, that's another way to think about it too. But you do have to be approved to sell in those categories. So, people who want to sell, luxury handbags or the high-end collectible shoes or some of those other categories, you have to be approved to even sell in those categories at all. So, it's a whole different ball game. So, yeah. But that's another way to think about it too, is you could go down the direction of selling higher dollar items, depending on what it is. But be very careful because a lot of those higher dollar items, um, require a lot of authentication and other criteria. Once you become premiered, you have to maintain 50 per three every 3 months. Yes. So you can have a seller that will hit that, and then the next 3 months they don't make it, and then they drop off of Premier. So you can be on and off of Premier depending on your stats over those 3 months. So if you want to learn more about it, just go into your seller hub, and in the menu there's a whole thing about Premier Shop. So seller tools, Premier Shop, and it takes you to an article that tells you all about what is required for you to be Premier. So this article that it takes you to gives you all the info. And I mean, there are some really good advantages to being a Premier Shop. You get a reduced commission, you get higher visibility, you get the badge on your shows, you get prioritized support. So there's a lot of benefits, but it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. So you just have to decide if that's for you or not. If it's worth what you're trying to achieve. So yeah. And yeah, it's a lot of pressure once you've hit Premier. Of course, you're going to want to stay there. And so you've got to work your butt off to stay in Premier status. So you've got to not only sell that 50K, but you've got to provide fast shipping, good customer service, all those things, because any of those things drop off and then you're no longer Premier. So it's a big commitment if you want to do that. So yep. All right. Anyone have any other, let me make sure I didn't miss any other questions. And I need to get going here pretty quick. So any other things anyone needs to talk about, discuss, make sure you go through the show notes and screenshot those bullets, and then go in the auction tab and go through any of those documents that will help you. Let me think if there's anything I should share specifically in there. Make sure you have that Whatnot seller account followed on here, and that you have that January 7th show bookmarked. And that'll be talking about new updates to the app. And really just make sure you have all those shows on the Whatnot seller account bookmarked, because there's lots of good info. And if you miss the shows, the second star bullet in the show notes, the Whatnot app account on YouTube, is where you can catch those on the back end. Usually after they have a show, they post it within a week to that account. So if you miss it, you can go watch it there. All right, let me go see who we can raid into. Dory, if selling secondhand items, what about copyright? What do you mean by copyright? Because if you're selling secondhand items, you're not too worried about copyright violation if you're just advertising what you're selling, right? Because you aren't like reinventing anything they already did. You're just promoting what they already did and selling it. So yeah, not a big issue. As long as, just be careful about, marketing it on other social media and stuff. So, and don't make the mistake that a lot of like people on that other platform that did handmade made, and try to make stuff that is a copy of copyrighted things. That's a big no-no. But if you're just reselling items, that's not a copyright. You're the second or third hand person. It's not an issue. All right, let me go see who we can raid into out there. Let's see if anyone's doing a community show. Oh, Daisy Lane was in here. She's on. Let's see. Yeah, let's go right into Daisy Lane. She was just on here. She's doing a chat and community show. So we'll go right into her. You guys have a wonderful day. And I will be back on next week. I'm taking Thursday off for Christmas, but we will be back next Tuesday on this show. And of course, you're always welcome to come to my regular shows and appreciate you guys coming. All right, we're going to go right into Daisy. Thanks, everyone. Have a wonderful day and Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, all those good things.